realize it's a richer man who can captain respect. That's a gusto world worth finding and celebrating.
Once around life.
Here's to you, Captain.
Once around living.
Good luck, Skipper.
Once around being.
In your boat, then.
You'll keep around Schlitz.
Here's to you. Good on you, Skipper.
Well, howdy, guys and gals. Backwaters and Backroads here, if you didn't know. If you're new, welcome. So, we are taking the day off today. We got to this little island here in the Mississippi River, right across from a little town called Buffalo, Iowa. And there's just, we kind of spotted this nice little beach when we were going through last night. Pulled up here and it's just been ideal. I think people camp here in the summer. And, well, let me turn the phone around. So yeah, we got our own little island. And we are taking the day off, like I said. Working on some videos, catching up. I realized that, you know, oftentimes if you have a YouTube channel, you don't have enough footage. Well, it goes like that with a channel like ours. You know, I'll be out on an adventure, I'll go to Isle Royale or something, and then there's all sorts of footage, you know, for 5 or 6 episodes, right? But then there's times where there's, you know, hardly anything to share, and that's usually when you guys don't hear from me for a while. Well, a trip like this is just so abundant in things to share that it'll start piling up. And I like to attempt to make as quality of videos as I can, so I won't hurry the process, and I think about 1 a week is what it's turning into. Maybe two, who knows? I'll try. So yeah, that's what's going on today. We're living on our own little private island. Kind of reminds me of Kentucky Lakes, which we're gonna probably be at in, I'm just taking a guess, 2 weeks, if I don't keep taking breaks and days off. Today's actually an ideal day to travel. There's no wind. I should be out in the water making some time, but it's just, I don't know. I just wanted to take it in and relax. It's hard, you know, it's like a conflict. It's like we feel a little bit rushed because of the weather, but then if there's anything to not rush through in this world, it would be something like this, you know. So there's a conflict going on, but we will manage. First world problems. Some people have real problems. I want to get the shirt made. Okay, guys, let's jump in the dinghy. Let's go across town. I think I saw a couple churches too. Let's go check it out. Stay tuned. There's the church that I saw from down the river. Usually you can see their spires sticking up. Let's go take a closer look at it. And just 2 doors down, there's another one. An old high school, and all restored too. Wonder what it is now. I'll try to look it up. If I find out, I'll put it below, as always. Sniffy sniff. We walked up to pretty much the height of the land in this town. I just wanted to see how far up it went. You can see the river down there. And yeah, this is a bigger town than I thought. It kind of goes back inland. I just sent a couple things from the post office, and I asked the nice lady in there, is there a grocery store in town? And she just went, no. There's a Casey's gas station and a Shell's gas station. So we're gonna stop by Casey's, I guess. Get a couple things. Okay. Goodbye, Totem Pole Island. You've been good to us. Good morning, guys and gals. We are leaving what we found out to be called Totem Pole Island, right across from Buffalo, Iowa. And I think I see why it was called Totem Pole Island, because we were coming back here yesterday and someone made like these three. I'll show you in just a second when we pass them. We're back on the river again. On your future adventure, which I know you guys will do. Take a day off anytime you feel like you need it. You're not tied to the wheel. You're not on any schedule. At least I hope you're not. And just take a break. Go find one of the thousands of islands, uninhabited islands. Tie up. Preferably across the street from a Casey's or something, so you can go get a piece of pizza or a treat. Just hang out for the day and relax. You have my permission, not that you need it. Look at this, a couple of modern day shipwrecks on the Mississippi River here. There's that one. And there's that one. Wonder what the story is. We'll see lots of those in Florida, guys. Let me show you guys this real quick. We're coming up on the next lock and dam, and often what happens is it creates these like calm pools out here that are pretty wide, but often the dredge channel is very narrow, and so luckily we've got the red and green cans to guide us through. But it's each, when there's no wind like today, it's very calm, right? You're just kind of cruising at like 5 miles an hour like we're doing now. And I've been getting hungry, so I've decided to cook. Usually I stop and throw anchor and cook somewhere, but I decided I'm going to cook at the same time this morning while we're just slowly making it through this. I don't know what you'd call this. They always seem to develop right before a lock and dam, which we have just a couple miles up around that corner. I've gotten a couple of peeks at it through the trees and the islands and such. So yeah, that's what we're doing today, guys. We'll get a little closer here. And sometimes the handhelds, you can't talk to them until you're, half a mile away or something. We're getting pretty close. We'll use this one. This one's a lot easier to use, but I forgot the charger, which is dumb. Maybe I'll buy another one. It's a great handheld, and it was bought by one of my subscribers a year or two ago. Thank you, by the way. You know who you are. Good morning, Lockmaster. This is a pleasure craft heading south. I was hoping I could pass through the lock this morning. Well, they got back to me, and they have a towboat coming north, and it's going to be a couple hours. It's kind of a bummer. It's such a perfect day to travel to. No wind, calm, sunny. But that's the way it goes. Whatever. We'll find a little place to anchor. We'll work on some stuff. So, couple hour wait. Alright guys, I'm going to try to explain something to you here. While we got a little time to kill. 4-stroke motors, outboards. They do something called making oil. You can look it up. I'll post something in the description. In a nutshell, if you cruise at low RPMs and the motor doesn't get to full temperature, like I do all the time, 2,000 RPMs at most, all day long, condensation will build up in the crankcase from the fuel, and it'll go in, it'll start adding to the oil, and they call it making oil. So what happens is you check your oil level, and you have more oil than when you started, which is something I did a couple days ago, and it doesn't really hurt anything unless it got really extreme. But I'm going to go ahead and use this little hand pump I have. I've never actually used this. It'll be the first time. And I'm going to pull some oil out. I'm going to do an oil change here fairly soon, but I just want to see if it'll work. So hold tight. So you can see here, here's the line where it's supposed to be, right there, and it's up to right there. So let's do something about that. It's really simple, straightforward. You put the hose on and you just start using it. You just, you know, like a pump, suction. I'm using an old peanut butter jar. I could put a lid on it and then try to dispose of it properly when I go to town. I'm going to remove as much as I can, because I can just replace it with good fresh oil. So, you know, I'll keep going here. Now you can see that I'm a little low. See the lines there? So I'm going to add a little fresh oil to it. I carry my spare oil up in the nose or the bow, to be technical, of the boat. And while I have the panel off, I'll show you. I've got my batteries, solar batteries, and camping gear and stuff like that. My helmet for my scooter stuff eventually, spare prop, wood. So after you're done checking the oil and you got the level right, put your hood back on. We'll put the oil cap back on. Don't lose it in the water because you'll regret it. Then put the hood back on and treat your little workhorse like a special little lady, like she is. Good girl. You too. Good girl. Okay, so we are not too far away from the lock, right around that corner. I'm going to call him. It's been about almost 2 hours. See what he says, if he answers. Oh, Lockmaster, this is the pleasure craft coming from the north heading south. I'm just checking in with you. I can't see the lock from where I'm at. I'm on the backside of Hog Island here. Just seeing if you got a time frame for me.
Prosperity, Lock 16. Do you want me to pass something on that Neil and Dill for you?
Lockmaster, this is the pleasure craft that contacted you almost a couple hours ago. You told me to check in after the northbound tug went through. How's the time frame looking, sir?
Prosperity is 16. Hey, that Neil and Dill said he would use a tug there. Yep, you bet. Y'all take care.
All right. Well, it looks like we might need to head over there and soon so they can hear us.
Hey, Chase, you got copper?
Who is this, anyways? It's not the Lockmaster.
Hey, that pleasure craft was wanting to go down. He was wanting a time frame. I think he said he was on the other side of that island. He was going to break his way if it was good. To that pleasure craft. Where are you? What's your location?
I am on the backside of Hog Island, just the island right before the dam on the north side. Doing a little bit of like bouncing the messages from one to the other, looks like.
16 of that downbound pleasure craft.
Yes, sir, I read you.
Yeah, if you're looking to go down to the chamber there, Skipper, you can bring her on over here.
Okay, I'm on my way. Give me about 10 minutes at most. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll see you in 10.
Heading over there, picking up the pace a little bit so I won't hold them up. That's who we were waiting for right there, heading north. It always makes me nervous being this close to dams. I don't know why. I'm always afraid that the motor's gonna fail and then, you know, then what? It's a negative on floating in this one. They kind of all do have their own little rules, so we're gonna hold the line like you've seen before. Guys, I'm not gonna be able to get much footage of this because I gotta really focus on it. I dropped my phone the last time, so basically just holding the line, and this boat loves to turn sideways, so I'm just kind of keeping it off the wall in the front here. So that's how you do it. All right, we're heading out. Hey, I'm going to show you. The boat did end up facing the wrong direction, and this boat will turn around in one fell swoop, just barely. As the turning radius is, I don't have to do, if I do it right, I can just kind of do a swing around and do a 180, start heading back down. So that's good to know. I asked that lock worker, what is the craziest craft you've ever seen come through here? And he thought about it for a second, and he goes, some kind of homemade, made out of bottles and cans, and there's some gypsies living on board. I'm like, gypsies? He's like, gypsies. I'm like, did it have a motor on it? They're like, I don't think so. It was just this floating raft made out of bottles and cans. Makes me feel a whole lot better. Okay, we're coming into the town of, I'm gonna massacre this name, but Mustacine? I'll put the name on the screen and you guys can correct me. We're gonna find a place to dock because we gotta go to a grocery store and start stocking up on some stuff. It's been a few days. I'm almost out of just about everything. What a beautiful day. This looks like a nice little town too. Nice little city. I think we're gonna try this dock right there. Let's go walk around for a little bit. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. I bet you it's almost 70 degrees. Amazing. Demanding. Someone in the comments section mentioned this place. You know who you are, thank you. And we're gonna go check it out. I don't think they're gonna let Wavy in there. So let's go poop her out and take her back to the boat. And we'll go back in there. Hopefully they'll still be open. Look at these, what do they call those? I know there's a name, there's an architectural name. And they're beautiful. Yes, I'm standing right in the middle of the street on a Saturday.
I like your dog.
Thank you. I love it when downtowns do stuff like this. Guys, I'm gonna try to verbalize this. So pulling up your shanty boat, especially at a good dock, when I say good, like a good location, no signs anywhere. I probably could stay here for a week and no one would even say a word. No signs, free. I'm tempted to stay here tonight, but it is kind of downtown and there is some downtowny type of people wandering around on a Saturday night. So I'll probably just go across the river right over there and just anchor or go to that beach. I'll go, you know, I got to confirm it, but it looks like a little beach over there I might go hang out in. But you can't, I mean, this is $1 million right here. Pulling up to $1 million view, walking around a historic old city. Got myself a couple of beers and we're just wandering around. I'm trying not to be in a hurry, but this weather is not going to last. I'm still in the north and it's November. But look at this, guys. I'm not gloating. I'm not bragging. I promise. I am just sharing this with you because my motto always, if I can do it, you can do it. Wavy gravy, come here. Say it with me. If we can do it, anybody could do it, right? Okay, guys, we're going to go out for our second walk here. Stay tuned. 2 walks in one day. Tell me, what beagle gets 2 walks in one day? Spoiled animal. I'm going to read this to you guys. Mississippi Harvest, Eric Bloom, cast bronze, 2006. Dedicated to the men and women who made Muscatine the pearl button capital of the world. I think they made them out of these oysters. They have a different name, I'm sure. Mussels. I see them all over the shores when we're camping on islands and stuff. I wonder if you can eat them. I should look it up. I will read this to you guys. Sorry for the shadow. Presented to the city of Muscatine, I'm so sorry for massacring that word, by Muscatine Tribe number 95. Let that motorcycle go by. Harley's improved order of Red Man. I wonder what that means. Improved order of Red Man. And dedicated to the Muscatine Indians, 1926. Okay, more futile attempts to try to articulate big picture stuff here. So, this town, this city, feels to me like I get this vibe occasionally in places I go, in places like this, where there's these cities who have, in a way, they've kind of had their heyday. They're products of a different time. You know, being here on the Mississippi River, you know, shipping and pearls, I suppose, you know, buttons. You know, they're prosperous. They grew, and then it feels like, you know, they had a decline for a while. But it's still, all the infrastructure is still there. All the beautiful brick buildings, all the, you know, back during the prosperous times when a city like this was built up. And now it feels like it's kind of having a resurgence. You know, there is an element of the population, you know, the public in America here who still want to create some kind of new good life, you know, and you know, for a while real estate prices are cheap and rents are cheap, and they come in and they start their little businesses. I saw like a incense and crystals shop, you know, and there's ice cream shops, and I think there's even like specialty popcorn and stuff. That kind of stuff, you know, kind of floods into like an abandoned downtown area that has all this beautiful infrastructure just kind of waiting for the new era to take hold. Now, I'm being very optimistic here because, you know, there's more to it than this, but I like that feel. It's basically like, in some ways, like an empty city. It's an underpopulated place in a way, because you can tell it was built for more people, and currently there's less people. What do you think? Does any of that make sense? And if you have any thoughts, please comment below. Aha. I knew it. 63 degrees. Perfect. Now here's a neat old church made out of river rock, river stone. Right downtown here. Beautiful. Look at this. This is cool. I feel like medieval England. You know, just a couple days ago, I was like, I'm gonna run out of interesting things to share with people. Well, I'm not gonna run out of interesting things to share with you. If you don't think like that old church right there is not interesting, then I don't know why you're on my channel. But I'm glad you are. Please stick around. You know, another thing I'll add to my little ponderances is, you know, downtowns are usually a product of a different time, a different era. And towns and cities have grown on the outskirts. That's where all the shopping went. That's where all the malls and all the Walmarts and stuff, right? And kind of, they've abandoned the downtowns. So when you're on a river trip like this, a water trip, oftentimes waterfronts where you will be traveling and coming in, come into the old downtowns. And you just get a totally different perspective of America that way, and all the little cities and towns along the way. Because in a way, you're doing it the old way. When you're coming in on the river, you are essentially stepping back 100 years, and you just get a totally different experience than coming into a town, coming through, you know, like Walmart's 4 miles away. I'd have to go up on the Highway 61 to get there. I'm not going to walk there, so I'm kind of stuck in the downtown. So, because we care. That's a new one. Okay, well, I was in the little grocery store there. When I came out, Wavy, I just tied her up out front for a few minutes. I really had no other choice unless I leave her at the boat. And this little kid ran up to me and he's like, "Oh, my brother just called me." He was like holding a phone. He's like, "Said that someone abandoned a dog out in front of the grocery store." And I was like, "No." Like, "Oh, so I was going to go in and ask." And I'm like, "You tell your brother," this kid was probably only 7, 8, but you tell your brother, never assume that. I mean, it's obvious. I'm always so worried that someone's going to take Wavy because she's so cute. Even though she's got a tag, she's got 2 collars on, she's on a leash. If they were watching, they would have saw me just go in the grocery store for a minute. Some people are such zealots that, you know, they would take your dog and then just say, "You abandoned your dog," for 10 minutes when you're in the grocery store. It's pretty ridiculous. If anyone ever stole Wavy, I don't know what I would do. So I guess just another little warning. This has happened before a couple years ago in Florida. Wavy and I are out for our 3rd walk tonight. Just to make sure she's gotten enough walking in. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's like an hour from sunset, and it's probably still 60. Amazing. This is a nice little city. Feels like it has a lot of room to grow, and a lot of room for someone to start over, you know, and just show up and find a life. Maybe this placard will explain what the giant watermelon is. Casey's Landing, also known as Casey's Woodyard. This is the location of Casey's Landing where steamboats would stop to take on wood. James W. Casey was the first permanent settler in what is now Muscatine. In 1835, Casey wanted to call the town Newburgh. Casey died in 1836, the first person to be buried in the city. Plaque courtesy of Muscatine Area Heritage Association. Still doesn't tell us what a giant piece of watermelon is here for. I guess this is going to be our home for the night, guys. I would hear someone coming in if they were going to break in. They get a big surprise. Wavy's got the zoomies again. Yep. Find me some rabbits. Find me some rabbits.